Dark Souls 1 is a game widely known for its difficulty, but is it really that difficult if you have experience in not just the game, but almost all of the Souls games, having completed Dark Souls 1 a number of times as well as Dark Souls 3? Anyway, what happens if we take away the ability to roll? That's what I wanted to find out today. Can you beat Dark Souls 1 without rolling? First and foremost, I went for the Thief class and chose the Black Bombs for my starter gift, so I have an easy way to take out the Asylum demon and have access to the Master Key straight away. Honestly, a big part of this run was fighting my instinct to roll, and when that does happen, I'll be sure to either die or dark sign to repeat myself. I'm sure that won't be an issue. I say hi to Oscar, grabbing some juice and then taking on our first boss without rolling. Again. And with the Asylum demon being weak to bleed, we take him out no bother with our knife and make our way to Lordran. I haven't played through Dark Souls 1 in a while, so I was excited to get back into it with a simple sounding challenge run. Really, at the start of the game, most things I do are the same from one run to another. I pick up some bits around Firelink, New Londo, use the Master Key to get to the Valley of Drakes where we get a free Soul of a Proud Knight and run past the Drakes and get to our next bonfire. I grab the Weed Shield and die from the Black Knight, so I practice my parry game, and with no issues we get him on the next try. The Crystal Lizard gives us a chunk and a shard, and before we know it we're back to our friend Andre and we make it to the Undead Parish bonfire. We grab the Firekeeper Soul and parry the Silver Knight to death on our first try, getting a shard from him before we unlock the shortcut back to Firelink Shrine. I finish picking up items around the shrine that I missed earlier on and level my endurance up 1 point. Trying to get through the parish without rolling sounds easier on paper than it actually is, so we die on our first try, and I end up taking my frustrations out on the crestfallen knight who's just hanging out in Firelink, chilling, minding his own business. Anyway, I take my free souls and make my way back to Andre to grab the broadsword and enough shards to get my broadsword up to a +4. This time with the broadsword, we managed to actually clear out the horde of the undead and the channeler. Really, the reason I'm here this early is for this heretic, this amalgamation of evil, Lothric. In my last run of this game, this dick murdered my Firekeeper and it was such a pain in the ass, so this time I make sure that doesn't happen and I just parry him to death and equip the Fat Ring straight away. I level up back in Firelink and reinforce my Estus to a +1 with the soul we found in the Undead Parish, a very useful item that we can use to give us either 5 humanity or upgrade the healing amount on our Estus, which caps at a +7. Down in New Londo, I do a little suicide run, picking up another Firekeeper soul, getting my Estus to a +2, and running back down, picking up the parrying dagger, as if I cannot roll, you know I'll be parrying where I can. I unlock the ladder shortcut and attempt to also get the key to the seal, but yeah, we die on the way. Now we have a mix of weapons, so we have the broadsword or the bandit knife in our right hand with the Weed Shield in the left or the parrying dagger. We stroll down to what was famously Lagtown in 2011, but for one simple reason, to get yet another Firekeeper soul to get our Estus to a very respectable +3 before we have even taken on another boss. Going through the Undead Burg with my +4 broadsword made me feel comfortable for this run. I pick up all the items I can and parry the 2 shield knights before I take out the Undead Merchant for the Residence Key to free Griggs later on. We get ganked on by the gank squad and level up again. I pick up the black fire bombs in the Burg along with a soul item and some gold pine resin. I take on the Black Knight without rolling, and really it was parry Anor 1, or in this case right mouse click about 3 times. I make the Taurus demon wait so I can take on Havel, and he sits me right the fuck down and takes me out with a single swing. I die on the way back, losing 10 soft humanity. I can never make this jump for some reason. Anyway, I make it back to Havel, and this time after we have our staring contest, I actually manage to parry the man successfully numerous times in a row, not at all shaking or sweating the entire time, and for our costly efforts and the loss of our humanity, we're gifted a ring for our satisfaction, which for all intended purposes could be used as a paperweight in a run like this where really we just can't roll. I take out the friendly archers and plunge attack Taurus, and yeah, I accidentally rolled, so I roll off the side and take him on again. This time opting to die in a much stupider way, and then on my third attempt I don't even go with the plunging attack and just run down to his part of the arena and carefully space myself away from him, and when he attacks I dodge and attack until we simply win. We meet up with number 1 Sunbrow and unlock the shortcut from Fire Bridge back down to the Burg. We bait out the dragon with the running man and make it to the parish. I get dicked down hard by the Black Knight after doing a special kind of parry, but on the second attempt we get him and his great sword, no bother. I close the gate locking myself out, then accidentally roll away, so let myself die, and now I have to go the long way around to get back to the parish. We hop on the boar and clear out all of the undead on our way back to grab our souls, the basement key, roll again, and let myself die again. Okay, this time I actually grab my souls and make it back to Andre, making sure to use all of my consumable souls on the way, which allow me to get the broadsword to a +5 and level up vitality to 18 for that chunky HP bar. Next up we have the Bell Gargoyles, and with my +5 broadsword with literal lightning coming out of it, did you think the stone gargoyles stood much of a chance? Well, no, they didn't. We just stay focused on Gargoyle number 1, trying to kill him as fast as we can. Then when number 2 comes out, number 1 is dead, and we can focus on number 2. Does that make sense? Anyway, we ring the bell and get our bandit knife up to a respectable +5 after the fight. We make our way to the hidden bonfire in the gardens, making sure to pick the wolf ring as it gives us an extra 40 points to our poise. Then we panic run from the mean stone man and get trapped in by a tree, narrowingly escaping, picking up the lemon branded armor and taking on the butterfly. I do a cheeky little strat I like to call eat some fire bombs, and it's where I throw fire bombs at her because I have the patience of a child and we come out victorious without having performed a dodge roll. Before moving on, I wanted to go back to the Asylum with my +5 bandit knife that inflicts bleed every third strike against a stray demon. While here, I trade with Snuggly for a Titanite chunk, parry the Black Knights into next week, picking up both the doll and the rusted iron ring. On my first attempt, we die in a matter of seconds against the stray demon, but on our second try, we managed to keep our distance for the most part, and we melt his health bar with our knife and managed to not roll a single time while doing so. The only reason I actually went back to the Asylum was for the 20k souls the stray demon drops, so we can go and buy the Crest of Artorias so we can get the Stoneplate armor for ultimate Chad poise, make our way into Sif's arena for the Hornet ring, which gives us 30% extra damage on backstabs and riposts. Anyway, I take on the best doggo this side of Lordran, and Sif convinces us to let her live for just that bit longer, so we abide and do just so. I use the basement key to unlock the shortcut from Capra back to the Burg, and free Griggs just in case I need to avail of his services. I make my way to the Capra fight only to die straight away, getting boxed in by both Capra and her dogs. On the second attempt I equipped the stone armor and managed to take out the dogs straight away without having to go to the back of the room with my poise and take down Capra shortly after, granting us access to the depths. I unlocked the shortcut back to Firelink, buying magic weapon from Griggs and then leveling up my vitality to 20. We head back to the depths and really there isn't much I wanted to do here. First things first, pick up the large ember to get my weapons to +10 or turn them raw. Next I pick up Laurentius? Is that his name? Fire guy gets added to our group back at Firelink anyway. Next we quickly unlock the bonfire shortcut and then proceed to take out the channeler, as honestly he's just such a pain in the ass in the middle of a fight that already has comically questionable hitboxes as it is. On our first try with this weird alligator looking gaping dragon thing, I equip my trusty broadsword with lightning and then my knife, and before we know it the dragon is down without a roll in sight. We level up back in Firelink and grab a pyromancy flame from Sam in case I need power within at some stage, but the only reason I never went and got it at all was because I was too lazy and that bug can go and suck a toe. We quite literally plummet down through Blighttown, making sure to not rest at the bonfire down here so we can homeward boner back to Firelink after fighting the Queen of Demonetization. While our damage wasn't the greatest, really is Quailag ever much trouble? Sure, I can't roll so I have to make sure there's no lava behind me, but that's really it. After we take out the Chaos Queen herself, we take out her weird stepsister, and then, on top of it all, we then go, steal her sister's clothes from her brother, and then we bait this fool into what I'm sure can legally be called assisted suicide. With the second bell rang and our Estus upgraded to a +4, let's make our way to Sense. Oh, for the love of God. So, okay, let's go down to the catacombs for some reason. After we make a few spooky drops and run away from the damage wheels, we magic weapon up our sword and two-handed to take down Pinwheel in a matter of seconds with the mask of the child. Better than no mask I suppose, and will act as a good replacement for the grass crest shield. While down here I decide to be stupid and die with 17,000 souls on me, so I make my way back to pick up my souls and get drop kicked by Patches so I can get the skull lantern and just homeward bound back to Firelink. Here I use all my consumable souls and level up endurance, strength and vitality. I thought leveling up endurance was important for this run, as I couldn't roll, so roll speed didn't matter but stamina did, and I quickly wanted to get that maxed out as soon as I could. I make my way into Sen's Funhouse, and honestly after going through this place more than once, it's more of a fun run than it is a beacon of death that it could be on your first or maybe second playthrough. I killed the first giant and baked this weird snake dude to break the wall for me so we can get a soul of a hero and free Wizard Man so we can ignore him forever. I pick up the Ring of Steel protection as well as tricking the Mimic into taking a snooze for us to grab the lightning spear. We wait for the balls to stack up to open the way for us to grab the gold bling bling ring. We get to the top of Sens in a few minutes and get the bonfire, which took me about 3 playthroughs to actually figure out was there, and it wasn't even me who figured it out. I saw it on someone's stream and I had my mind fucking blown. I send the cage down for the shortcut and take on the second giant up top, who submits straight away and with a few more swings is taken out no bother. Ricard was actually a pain in the fucking ass, but we got him so we can pick up the rare ring of sacrifice for Seek later, just in case we get cursed. I run back to Andre and pop all of my consumable souls to get my raw broadsword to a +5, which I think is basically equivalent to a +10 regular broadsword, but with very little scaling. Like, I'm talking D levels of scaling, which for now will let me focus on endurance and vitality. Finally, we take on the Iron Golem, and this man is a joke. We don't manage to get the funny haha meme death, but in a way, being the last line of defense to get into a dead city pretending to be something it's not, cast with secrets, and that's funny in its own. In Anor Londo now, we take on some giants, grabbing the bonfire afterwards and easily taking on the first gargoyle too. Going across the rafters really wasn't too difficult without rolling, as why would you roll up here anyway? We take out gargoyle numero dos, and for some reason, I don't know what got over me, but I made it my mission to clear out every single painting guardian in the room before making my way to the painted world of Ariamis. Now, for a fun fact, on my first playthrough of this game, I realised a very handy skip. Yeah, look at that. We pissed off the dragon guard on the bridge, and honestly, the next 15 minutes, it's just me bashing my head against this dragon. Trying to just skip past the dragon, I thought maybe using consumables. I get too close for comfort and yeah, we die again. Then the dragon just wasn't there. I have no idea what happened here, so I just go back to my original thought process and I drop down the side on the invisible wall and run up to Priscilla's fog wall, where, despite being the fluffiest half-breed between Lothric and Lordran, we still must take her on. We break her out of invisibility, and after slashing her health bar down, she turns invisible again and bleeds us to death. On attempt 2, however, I just use my broadsword and we melt through her health bar, and before we know it, we had the overwhelming urge to kill ourselves and we realised it was all just a dream. Hey, speaking of dreams, have you met the dream team? Yeah, so Ornstein and Smough were surprisingly not the hole in the bin they can be in runs like this. In the first phase, while we're thrown around like a piece of paper and we melt through our Estus, we managed to get Smough down to phase 1, and now it's time for Super Ornstein. This is my second time ever fighting Super Ornstein, and it just couldn't be easier. We lock in with 100k souls and level up strength and vitality and acquire the Lord Vessel from the imaginary McBoob lady, which allows us to warp from bonfire to bonfire. With this new Vessel of Lords in my hand, I place it down on Firelink Altar, and you know you've done it right when it is. I make my way down to the Tomb of the Giants and to get the Silver Serpent Ring, but ultimately fail the first time. And on my second attempt, I grab the ring and jump down to the left, making my way to the Neo fight. Our first fight of the 4 lords, I wait for Neo to come to me, and once he's close enough, I try to stick to his side and swing my broadsword at him, and when he's doing an AoE attack, I just try to back off and heal if I need to heal, and before we know it, Lord Soul number 1 is ours. I level up in Anor Londo and take on the knights we didn't take on earlier on for the free Twinkling Titanite and the Crystal Halberd. We're unsuccessful in our first attempt to infiltrate the archives, but on my second attempt, I trapped the boar and yeah, I actually died again, so... This time, I do a well-known cheese and get them trapped in this little opening and proceed to take out a big fuck-off sword and just swing to my heart's desire, making sure to not roll and take on one at a time from where they will never be able to reach me. It feels good in an evil kind of way. I die with the rare ring of sacrifice on, so that's fucking great, and when I finally make it to sea, luckily I actually managed to convince the big gal to spare my soul and just take my physical body. We wake up being guarded by another weird snake dude and immediately we die. We happen to find a key to let us escape on the snake we killed, so we leave the cell and make our way down to the bottom of the never-ending staircase. We grab the key to escape from the prison and we make our way back to the top of the windy forever stairs and escape through the only door in sight. After we get out, it's really only a matter of spinning staircase number 1 and spinning staircase number 2 and opening the secret door, get a symbol of avarice for that sweet extra soul gain, and get the bonfire. We make our way back to Andre to bring the Black Knight Greatsword to a +5 and level up strength to 25. Knowing I'm not able to roll in the sea fight had me a bit nervous, if you cannot tell by the big fuck off sword I'm holding. I pick up some foreshadowing and immediately plummet to my death. On attempt 2, I managed to not plummet to my death, and no matter how many times I do this part of the Crystal Cave, I will never not think I'm about to fall off. We enter into Seat's arena with 2 of the clam things, and really I should have not won this fight. I came close to death more than once, and them stupid clams got in my way more than once and took me away from the fight. Honestly, it was luck and the big fuck off sword that got me the win. Lord Soul number 2 has been acquired. Next up, Ingward gives us the key to the seal, as we have already placed the Lord Soul, but who doesn't kill him regardless? We open the seal and make our way to the 4 lords, and yeah, I forgot to go back and kill Sif. So quickly I make my way back to Sif, and while she may be the goodest dog in all the land, and really she's only protecting her master, we make it quick, and before we know it, she's slain, and we quickly leave the area in fear of depression setting in even harder. Now armed with the Covenant of Artorias ring to travel the Abyss safely, I drop down into the Abyss and take on the 4 kings. I like the kings fight. I know it's a damage per second race and they spawn every 45 seconds, so you need to do a lot of damage in 45 seconds to get rid of 1 king, but if you know how to position yourself and you're already tanking through hits and not rolling, then the kings fall and Lord Soul number 3 has been claimed. Before we move on, I go back to Andre and decide to upgrade the Man Serpent Greatsword, as I've never used it before and it looked fun. I upgrade it as far as I can, and for some reason Kath is pissed at me, so I farm up some souls in Anor Londo and buy 7 large shards from the giant blacksmith to get 9 in total, and I make my way back to Andre to get it up to a +10, then quickly make my way to New Londo and get the extra large ember for my extra large Andre. I quickly get back to Andre to give him my big strong ember, and he gets my greatsword up to a +15. I'm not sure what the drop rate is for this greatsword, but it was really fun to use. I make my way down to the boss gauntlet and take on the Asylum demon's 3rd cousin. Astoundingly, I actually died to this copy and paste, but on my 2nd attempt I best him by just running in, attacking, running away, running in and repeating like I did for the last 2 demons. Next up, we have a centipede that for some reason has its own cutscene. Anyway, I just try to bait the centipede demon to the land so I can take him down, and once we're able to hit, it's only a matter of time before he comes tumbling down. Last and least, we have the fire tree. Take down side on the left without rolling, quit out. Take outside on the right without rolling, quit out. And go back in down the middle, and first try we get through and we die. Which is a problem, as without being able to roll, this stock meme of a boss was actually made slightly patronisingly difficult. On our next attempt we wait it out, and when we get our chance to run through, getting fire pillared numerous times and having to use up all our Estus, but we finally got through and took her out. That's Lord Soul number 4 acquired, and now it's time for the final boss. Gwyn. Probably the one boss in this entire game that I genuinely struggled with. Took me 3 hours on my first attempt. 3 hours? What? And the feeling I had afterwards will never be mimicked by anything ever again. However, back then I lacked what I have now. I have experience. I have parrying. I have lightning. While I missed the first few parries, it's only a matter of time till I take him down. Invalidate the run, and I leave this world as it should have been left the last time. I left it in darkness. If you have any challenge run ideas you want to see, please leave them in the comments, and with that, I've been Dara. Have a good day.